Well, welcome to Hoaxie Gardens and Homestead. Today I'm wanting to show you a few maps that you can get to online, and they're very helpful with finding out what your zone is, what you can grow in your area, and how to hook up with zones around the world that are just like yours and find out what they're growing in their areas. So let's get started. First one I want to look at is the Farmer's Almanac. You can go on here and like right here in this area right here, you can find your first frost dates. Well, you can find all your frost dates. You put in your city, your state, or your zip code, hit search, and it comes up. So I'm in Texas, so I'm just going to put in Texas. And it goes on to talk about water frost dates and then I clicked on Texas, and then you can go and you can click on your state, your city in particular. Now, if you don't find your city on here, come back up here and put in your zip code. I'm not going to put in my zip code for, kind of obvious reasons, but once you pick, let's pick Arlington. Now, it actually tells you your altitude, which is good to know if you're canning or anything like that. It tells the last spring frost, which would be March 19th, and then it'll tell the first fall frost, which is November 13th. So it tells you that you have 238 days for your growing season. Now, you can come up here to gardening, and it'll give you a garden planner. Gardening tips and personalized advice. You can find out more. They give you helpful gardening advice. They pick the best plants to grow, help you diagnose problems. Now you can get a free trial for either on your computer or on your phone. You'll be able to draw out your own vegetable garden, and you can add plants, and it's always, there's a lot you can do. When to plant, it gives you when to plant specific things. Now this is all flowers and stuff, but you get on there and you enter in your vegetables, and it'll give you more information about that. Now here it talks about crop rotation and keeping a journal. You'll get planting reminders by email. It's a world of information on the Farmer's Almanac, and it's well worth getting into. Here it has plants and growing guides for all different kinds of plants. Your dwarf apples, different types of apples, apricots, artichokes, arugula. It has information on look at all your vegetables that you're going to have growing information on. Let's click on one. Let's try cauliflower. It tells you the soil, what soil it needs, the positioning, whether it needs full sun, which this one does, or not. Is it frost tolerant? Yes, it is. It talks about feeding, companion plants, the spacing, when to sow and plant, and different information. The pests that affect it, and it'll give you information on each one of those. So the Farmer's Almanac Garden Planner is a very good website to get involved with. And to hook up with. And so I wanted to give you that information. Now another, and it's an interactive map, and it's the USDA map. Now when you get on there, you're going to have this, but it's one of those I'm not a robot type things which I don't know why a robot would want to be getting into this, but so just put in your code. Oops. Okay. Okay. Well, that was kind of weird. So, now on this one is the lower 48 states, but now you could go up here if you're in Alaska, Hawaii, or Puerto Rico, and you could actually put that in there. You can get specific by putting in your zip code, and it will move right into your area. But you look here, let's see, I'm in Texas. Okay, this is a cold hardiness zone zone map. So like if you were in the center of Texas, it would tell you that you're an 8A. They would tell you that your range is from 10 to 15 degrees in the winter. And I mean, that's as cold as it gets. And it also gives your latitude and your longitude. And so, you know, this has some information on it that's very helpful to you for when you're looking for plants and you're looking for what's going to grow in your area. And you can just, you know, say you were in this light blue area, you could come over here and you know that you have -10 to -15 degrees Fahrenheit. So when you're looking for plants, you would look in that area. If you were in California, you could, you'd know that, let's see if I can get it to pull up. You would know you were a 9A if you were, you know, around San Francisco. And the range, the coldest it gets is 20 to 25. So when you go to looking for plants, that's what you would look for. Now this is an interactive map, so you can put in your zip code and you can locate your area and get a better idea of what's going on in your area. Now there's also information up here. You can view different maps. You can look national, regional, or just by your state. Then you have the download data where you can download some of these maps. And then we're back to the interactive map, and it wants me to put the code in again, which I think this is a little silly, but this is what they do. So, but you know, it gives you an idea of what your zone is, what your winter zone is, what your growing zone is, what the temperature is, and so that gives you something to go by when you're looking for plants. Now this is another one. This is a heat zone, and this too, you have to purchase a copy of the the map. But this one tells you how many heat days you'll have, how many days are above 80 degrees in your area. Now, it tells you here how to use the heat map and what are heat zones. And the whole purpose of this is for finding plants that will flourish in your area. Now, they do have a planting chat with gardening tips right here. They have a planting pollinator garden, how to. So this is something that's very interesting and something that you should check out. And it has the different articles here. Not only will it tell you the plants that will bring in the pollinators, but it has, you know, different articles here that are very interesting, and like this one for gardening for native bees. I think that, now this is just a personal thing, I think that the native bees are more important, if not as important, as the honeybees. A lot of attention is given to the honeybees, but we have more native bees in our area that do harder work than our little honeybees, which I believe are very important, don't get me wrong. All the bees are important to our areas. And also, if you have a pollinator garden, if you've done this, you can register your pollinator garden. And they have a pollinator garden challenge. So this is an interesting site. It's an informative site. It will let you know how many days you have in your area that are above 80 degrees, so that you know how many gardening days that you have in your season. So it is a really good site to get involved with. Now this is the map that I like the most, and it is free, and it's on Wikipedia. It is the Köppen, C-O-P-P-E-N. Let's see. Let me zoom out just a little bit. There we go. It is the Köppen Climate Classification. Now you come over here on the map and you can click on it and it enlarges it. And you can go to your area, find your color, and then come down here and look and say, okay, well, I think I might be this color. I think this would be my color. Let's see if we can click on that. Okay, so this gives us a larger view of the map. Now I can see the color better. I'm going to go back down. And I'm going to come over. And I'm going to... And you'll know if you've done it right, because what it's going to do, it will highlight the area over here. Now, this tells me that I'm in a humid subtropical climate. Talks about being hot, which we are definitely hot here in Texas. But what it does is it shows you all the different areas around the world which have similar climate classifications as you. And why I think that is pretty cool is because you know that these places are growing things different than you are. And so we can go back to this and you come down here and it talks about Africa. And it's primarily found in the southern hemisphere of the continent. So then you know that it's the south areas that you want to focus on, what they're growing. And Central Angola, Zimbabwe, you know, all the Congo, Tanzania, Zambia, Ethiopian highlands. And you can click on that and it pretty much tells you everything about that country, that area. Let's go back. And then it Asia. Now, East Asia, South Asia, Western Asia, and it gives you the areas that you connect with. Then in North America, and of course, you'll probably pretty much know the ones in your area, but it also talks about in Mexico the climates that are with you, and in South America and the climates that are similar to yours, then Australia, Europe. So these are the countries that I have in common, and I can grow things in my area that they grow there, and that's where your investigation comes in. Let's say you want to find something in that grows in Eastern Asia. You pick out one of these areas and then you then you go onto Google and you just type in foods grown in and put in that area. And so, you know, that is a wealth of information, and I love this map. I do spend a lot of time on this because I really like to see what's growing in other countries and areas that have the same climate that I do, and what they're growing, and bring it here. And if you can, you have to make sure that it's legal to bring it here, and grow it. And I've been doing that. I've gotten some some beans, coffee beans from Africa, and well, just different things. And so I just wanted to leave this with you today. I'll put the links to them in the description below. These are maps that I think every gardener should frequent often and use to plan their gardens, to know what is heat tolerant, what is cold tolerant, what your frost dates are, what you can plant when. That's the thing about Farmer's Almanac. If you hook up with them, they will tell you in your area, because they send it specifically for my town, what you grow on what day, because it also gives you the stages of the moon, so that if you plant and grow by the moon stages, you'll have that information. And so Farmer's Almanac is another one that I highly recommend. It is a great tool. It's a great tool. This one is a great tool. The others are just, they're good for learning how, it'll tell you how many growing days you have, and it lets you know what your zone is, and other than that, those really aren't that interesting. They're interactive maps, and so they can get you down to your area. But once you know your growing zone, that's really it, all that gives you. And also, how many days you're going to have above 80 degrees. That kind of gives you your growing stage for your garden. So I hope this has been informative. I hope that you'll get online and you'll check out these websites. Like I said, I will put the links to them in the description below. Hope this has been informative for you. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.